don't know. It sounds disgusting.
I mean, hey, it's like with anything, it's not pleasant, but if it's good for you, it's not supposed to be pleasant. Um, but let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to take a look at Spider-Man Noir first, coming out from Amazon. So here's something interesting here with Spider-Man Noir. So
Nicolas Cage in it.
Yeah, so a few years ago, you and I did a review of Into the Spider-Verse, right? And ever since then, we've been we've been looking at all the forums and all of the news sites to see if there are any hints of a sequel coming out. I mean, as far as have they announced a sequel for Into the Spider-Verse, or is that still like TBD?
No, they have it. I think it's later than I mean, it's definitely further back, but they have announced it.
Okay.
Because what was it? Across the Spider-Verse?
Because, instead of giving us a sequel, they decided to instead give us Spider Noir with Nicolas Cage as Ben Reilly, as a 1930s pulp, Spider-Man who's like swinging around beating up criminals, kind of like Dick Tracy. And it's coming out on Amazon too, which is interesting because a few years ago, they actually released Batman Cape Crusader, and this came from the same guy who created Batman the animated series from the 90s, Bruce Timm. And in this version, in Batman Cape Crusader, it's very much period specific, so they're very much leaning into the 1930s 1940s aesthetic, right? So I'm wondering if maybe the guys at Marvel looked at that and said, well, if they're doing Batman set in the 30s and 40s, then why not just do a Spider-Man story set in the 30s and 40s also?
I will say, sorry, I did look up. So the sequel comes out June 4th of 2027. So almost 4 years after the first one was released.
So instead of pushing it back to 2027, and giving us Spider Noir, why don't they just scrap Spider Noir and just give us the sequel instead? It's interesting how they think here,
Yeah, it's an interesting choice. Oh, let me pee really quick. I'm sorry, I have to go really quick, and then I'll be right back. Give me like 2 seconds.
All right. Meanwhile, welcome to the Movie Pope Podcast, and today we are going to be taking a look at the trailer for Spider Noir, which comes out from Amazon, starring Nicolas Cage as Ben Reilly, who is Spider Noir, as you can see here. It is kind of interesting, too, just because, as I've alluded earlier, we did a review of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, or Across the Spider-Verse a few years ago, and it's just one of those things where we kind of wonder why they're making us wait when they're taking their time to, I guess, animate or write, animate, and direct the story when they could have given it to us by this point. I'm guessing they were waiting because Haley Steinfeld kept hinting, hey, I'm going to be getting married soon, and I don't want any Spider-Man projects going on while I'm getting hitched and on my honeymoon. And from what I understand, she's also expecting her first child with Josh Allen. So, Haley, if you are watching, congrats and mazel tov. But before we dive in, remember to like, comment, subscribe. We're slowly growing our channel, so if you could do us a favor and hit the like button and subscribe, that'd be great. And tell your friends and your foes about us, because we are looking to expand our audience and our reach, and we do have a lot planned in the hopper for 2026. I know Dara and I are going to be taking a look at the Peaky Blinders. We'll be going season by season, as well as hopefully resume our review of Schitt's Creek with Dan Hick. He's currently working on an album right now, so once he's taken care of all that, he's done recording and promoting and touring, then hopefully we can get him back on so we can take a look at Schitt's Creek season 2.
Such a language.
I mean, we left it off at season 1, and ever since then, I've been waiting to hear back from Dan to see what he's doing. And Dan says, "Oh, I'm busy recording an album right now." I've been looking to see if I can incorporate one of his songs into the intro for one of the shows that we do here on the channel. Yeah, but yeah, Lee. So while you're
Beyond the Spider-Verse, right? So the sequel, comes out in 2027, right? The first one came out in 2023. What is like? I just don't understand. I mean, I have to feel like, I mean, it was immensely popular, right? People were pretty interested in it. I have to imagine it did well at the box office. Looking at the numbers, and it made almost $700 million. It just seems very weird that you're kind of, focusing on other projects, but you have a good project already out there, but you're going to lose people's interest in it because you're waiting 4 years to put out a sequel, right?
Lee, keep in mind, Haley Steinfeld got married during that time, and she's expecting her first child with Josh Allen. I mean, come on, have some compassion here.
I mean, look, they give Haley Steinfeld less lines. I don't know what to tell you, right? Like, she's gonna be in some type of, booth. Just you're gonna have to figure something out there for her. But my gosh, like, in 4 years between these two things, this is what, and I think we see this with TV shows too, right? You see, like, perfect example, Stranger Things, right? How many people were complaining that as the last season of Stranger Things came out, it's like, oh, I forgot about what happened last season. Or, everyone's making fun of how old the quote-unquote kids are now. And I'm like, this is what happens. And then you have a perfectly good project for one of the, I mean, to me, we reviewed one of them, right? I remember we reviewed at least one of them. And I consider the Across the Spider-Verse, I mean, that was fantastic film. Absolutely fantastic. And instead it feels like you're working on side projects. And I mean, who knows? You obviously have like other people that are developing this stuff, so maybe this is a wholly different team. But man, use your resources to what's good, and don't like have people waiting around an eternity to get a conclusion to something because you're gonna lose people's kind of hype around it. I don't know. This is weird. People make weird decisions. These companies are making odd choices.
I mean, it's not like animation is a very difficult process. I mean, on average, it takes about.
That sounds like sarcasm to me.
I mean, it takes about 57 minutes for me to do the animation for the robot every Monday, right? So, and keep in mind, we're talking about, an episode that's between 7 to 8 minutes, right? So, to do a feature-length film like, like that, I would imagine it would take a little bit longer, but it's a lot shorter of a time to do than to film a 8-episode miniseries on Amazon, But yeah, it's quite mind-boggling just to think that with the amount of time and effort and energy that they put into developing this miniseries, they could have completed and possibly did one more Spider-Verse movie while they were at it, right? but to your point, they just shifted their priorities, and here we are. So let's go ahead and take a look at Spider Noir and see what
Nicolas Cage brings.
Let's see. Let's see how he manages as Spider-Man Noir.
Tell me why.
You already know how it ends.
Well, then start from the beginning.
Well, it definitely looks very noir.
Well, that is the vibe they're going for, Lee.
Nailed it.
Impulses. I managed to suppress them most of the time.
Did he get bit by a black and white spider? Do you think that's what did it?
Well, never mind that. He sounds like he's got some fake teeth in his mouth.
Is he? Wait, I gotta look at his mouth more. That sounds like a weird comment out of context, but
I mean, listen to the way he talks. Like, yeah, sure. I think that it's kind of that's how someone with fake teeth would talk. It doesn't sound natural. Because even if you watch like past Nicolas Cage movies, like he has a distinctive speech pattern, but it sounds more natural than it sounds here, right?
That's true. But Nicolas Cage also doesn't sound natural overall. So
I get it. He was a Mongoloid Neanderthal who was uncovered in the 70s and cleaned up and put into Hollywood. I get that part, but still, I mean, he sounds like he's got some fake dentures going on. It's kind of like that episode of It's Always Sunny where they're wearing those fake wooden teeth and they're whistling as they're talking.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Like the way his mouth moves is like most of the time. It's the lips moving, but not not the mouth.
Maybe
You know
this
what I mean?
is like a side effect of the spider bite, right? Like, I think we should have given him too many heart issues.
Well, yeah, I've been bitten by spiders numerous times. I don't talk like that, okay?
Yeah, but have you ever been bit by a black and white spider that transports you to a different world and gives you superpowers?
No, just a regular black spider.
Mm.
What's going on, Ben?
Wait. What the hell happened to him?
I beat up some guys in a bar. And I got plastered.
What are you thinking about over there?
Bit of an existential crisis, if I'm honest.
Struck a nerve, huh?
So weird seeing like Spider-Man in black and white. I don't know. This is very, very interesting about that.
Well, never mind.
Interesting.
No, I mean,
So
never
they're
mind.
doing wait, you do it a black, white, and it's going to be color.
Yeah, just like in the Wizard of Oz.
Oh,
You know,
interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
that's
Wizard of Oz starts off in sepia tone, then it becomes all magical and
Yeah,
color.
but wait, but that seems like, but this one looks like it's actually going to be either you can watch it in black, white, or color.
Yeah, it says watch
the way
two
through.
ways. Yeah, it
Yes.
says watch two ways, either in black and white or
Interesting.
full view. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
that's interesting, and I can appreciate that, right? Because I think that's kind of one of the things with with the Noir Spider-Man, right? Is kind of that feel of he was always a black and white and everything like that. So I think that's kind of a cool thing. I what not to belabor a point, right? I mean, it looks fine and interesting, but I have to wonder if this is what the focal point is supposed to be with it. I mean, I always have that problem or that apprehension when you have something that's popular, then you take a single character out of something that's popular to make this kind of side project in hopes of, keeping people entertained with stuff. I kind of already have had some ups and downs with my love for Nicolas Cage, which is anything from, oh, he's like acting super quirky to I just want to punch him in the face. So I mean, it looks like an interesting performance for him, which I think is what everyone's hoping for when you get a Nicolas Cage, is you get an interesting performance. But it's I don't know. It just feels like you're creating another Spider-Man derivative when you already have so many out there. How many versions of the same story can we consistently see?
Well, also keep in mind too. I mean, Spider-Man: Brand New Day is supposed to come out this summer, and all we've had are rumors and rumblings, and we haven't even gotten a teaser trailer. Whereas here we've gotten the teaser trailer for Spider Noir, a project which, to your point, I mean, unless you're like a huge fan of Spider-Man and all his variants, this is something that's probably going to go over a lot of people's heads.
Yeah, it's just a weird choice. Like, I mean, yeah, I don't know. This goes back to all the superhero fatigue of how many times we're gonna watch this, and it's like, oh gosh, another thing that deals with spiders. Which, I mean, granted, we saw some spiders. I don't know how he gets his powers. Right? I have no idea.
It looks like we saw a shot of him in like military garb and
yes,
a spider in jar. So I'm guessing they're kind of doing like the Abraham Erskine kind of deal where they're trying to, I guess, impart like spider abilities into a willing volunteer. Because keep in mind, like the story's supposed to be set in the 30s, so presumably, Ben Reilly, who's Nicolas Cage's character, fought in the First World War, and I'm guessing they're kind of doing to him what they would do to Steve Rogers in World War II, except they give him the abilities of a spider instead of making him like, a super soldier, really.
So I just gotta read this very quickly. So this is for the Spider-Man Noir, right? So while investigating a smuggler, Peter Parker is bitten by what seems to be a highly venomous spider housed inside a spider god idol.
Oh, so they're going for like the Black Panther Moon Knight vibe.
Now, like I said, with anything that deals with, comics and everything, they obviously retcon this all the time. So who knows if it just happened to be the one that I found. It could be a totally different thing, but I am, like I said, wondering where they're going to go with all this stuff. And, gosh, it's just another Spider-Man derivative. But, I mean, I wasn't expecting a lot out of the Across the Spider-Verse franchise, but that absolutely surprised me with how much I enjoyed it. So I can't, you can't take anything out of it. But, it's, I don't know, you're going to have like the little Japanese girl in another one, or you're going to have the Porky Pig Spider-Man another one. Where do you draw the line on when you've created enough of these derivatives of Spider-Man? I mean,
Sony still has the rights to the Spider-Man property, so they're gonna just milk that cow for everything it's got.
Yeah, you better believe it.
I mean, with the exception of Brand New Day, I really don't know what other Spider-Man venture we can expect to see for this year, because that trailer came as a surprise to me, to be honest with you. I didn't even know this existed until it popped up on my feed a few days ago. What's even more surprising too is the fact that it's showing up on Amazon of all places. Which I which initially I thought, okay, it's kind of weird that it's on Amazon, but at the same time it's like, well, technically it is a Sony property, so they really wouldn't put it on Disney or Hulu or any of the other traditional streaming platforms that you would normally associate with Marvel, right? Because remember way back in the day, when they had Daredevil and Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, they're all Netflix properties before they kind of got
that's true.
migrated to Marvel. But yeah, I don't hate it, but at the same time, you kind of have to wonder, why are they doing this at all? Why go through the effort when, to your point, they could have completed the last installment of the Spider-Verse movie and be done with it.
That's where I put my resources, but what the hell do I know?
You're right, man. You're just coughing. It sounds like every time I talk to you, you're either dying or very close to dying.
That's okay. No, it doesn't seem like that at all. Look, man, we're all slowly dying, right?
I'm not.
I'm existential.
So what on the day after your birthday, where you're curled up in a ball and just thinking to yourself, it wasn't supposed to happen like this. What's happening to me?
Probably like that. My voice is probably very similar too.
I mean, it's just one of those things that the day after your birthday, you just kind of wonder to yourself, where has all this time gone? You could have done a lot of great things, but instead you just wasted your time, every other Saturday just doing a podcast about movies.
Hey! These are not wasted. I enjoy talking about these things with you as we complain about this obnoxious stuff that I feel like we're just going to continue to complain about for the next 5 to 10 years as we continue to get more and more of these superhero films that we can't seem to escape.